She's done it before, and she's going to do it again for Josie. Please welcome Helen Zille.
Guys, so I'm not South African, yeah, but watching Helen Zille's speech, the introduction, the energy in the room, bro, I could actually feel my emotions overwhelm my being entirely. I could almost as though feel as a national of South Africa, and actually felt like, in fact, whenever I listen to the South African anthem, I always want to shed a tear. There's something I don't know if it's a something to, if I'm right to say there's something spiritual about that national anthem, but whatever it is, anyway, listening to Helen Zille in this speech where she has just now been unveiled as the incoming mayoral candidate for Joburg, bro, it's something I admonish everyone in South Africa to watch. I know she has opposition. Other mayoral candidates as well will be coming in as we enter into the 2026 by-elections. It's really intense, man. This speech he gives here, and one of the things me as a Nigerian actually enjoy about this speech is I believe that Africa, the whole continent is actually crying for good governance, service delivery. In fact, President Ramaphosa, in the last, I think it was the NEC meeting, he was actually, in a way, indirectly booing the ANC, would I say reps now, in a way, indirectly praising the DA, arguing that, how is it that the DA seems to be getting governance in many municipalities, right? And then the municipalities where the ANC actually have been governing have been having these poor service delivery issues and all of that. So it's something that when I'd much admonish you guys to watch this speech by Helen Zille to the end. There's something about it, the fact that she grew up in Johannesburg. She says she breathed her first air in Johannesburg. She fell in love in Johannesburg. Johannesburg, at a time when she knew it, was the rave of Africa. It was a city where, she argues and ascertains that it's a city that was built by laborers who left their homes to the mines, in search of gold. But, that whole glory of Johannesburg, looking at the governance we've had in the last 30 years, Johannesburg has actually been now seen as a city. I think I made a video once that is now a city in decay. African cities, not just Johannesburg, but many other cities, even in Lagos, in the old part of Lagos. If you visited Lagos, those of you who watch this channel, there's a part of Lagos that's the old Lagos. It's had kind of like decay and all. Sometimes the new Lagos seems new, modern as well. Some parts of Nairobi, if you visit Kenya as well, also have this decay. But Johannesburg actually beat it, because at some point, I think in the 50s, 60s, Johannesburg was at the peak of excellence in terms of African cities. But today, we speak of Johannesburg, what comes to your mind is potholes, lights that do not work, and rabid crime all over. So Helen Zille is actually here giving a vision in this speech, and I really wish her well. Really, Prince Mashele, in his last video, I think I made it on my channel anyway, he speaks about how he's going to be for the first time violating his own ethos and arguing that if Helen Zille would come out to be a mayoral candidate for Joburg, he's going to back her. He says he's going to be violating his ethos and be backing that speaks of the hunger that is within the hearts of the people, not just South Africans now, but even in outside of South Africa. Many of us in West Africa, for example, are still looking up to an excellent South Africa that has actually been known by this, excellence going forward, and to see it, especially in terms of the cities. I was reading a recent report arguing that, the former homelands, the Transkei and the rest, seem to still be in a lack of infrastructure and all of that. And if massive investments could be achieved in the homeland, we could begin what could be a transformation of the cityscape in South Africa. So a lot of Africans are longing to see a South Africa, and especially starting from Joburg, if possible, will come back to its glory, but now within the confines of equality, and not this inequality we saw during the apartheid regime, but now a more fair democratic tradition. We've seen the last governance of the last 30 years. It actually seems to have gotten us to where we are at the moment, and everyone is longing for transformation and really a buoyant approach to growth and development going forward. And I think Helen Zille captures this speech is really powerful. I think I'd admonish you guys to watch till the end, and let's hear what you have to think in the comments. Share your thoughts. Let's listen to Helen Zille. She's now today on the 20th of September 2025 been unveiled as the 2026 Johannesburg mayoral candidate, and she really brings a lot of energy to the job, hoping and praying that she can carry out a lot of massive developmental change in the trajectory that Johannesburg has gone forward ever since we came into a democratic era from 1994. Let's listen to the Helen Zille speech and share your thoughts in the comments.
The moment you've all been waiting for. The drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. I want to introduce to you a daughter of the city. A leader I believe in. Someone we can all believe in. Because she's done it before and she's going to do it again for Josie. Please welcome Helen Zille.
Joburg! Good morning to our big blue family. Naam kele kile nonke. It is such a privilege for me to accept the nomination as your mayoral candidate for this great city. I acknowledge with respect all the other candidates who gave me stiff competition for this honor. You gave me a run for my money. Today, I address the people of Joburg, who, like us, refuse to give up on her golden promise. Many of you may know me as an ex-mayor and an ex-premier, and also a mother and a gogo. But I'm here today as a daughter of Johannesburg. I was born and raised in this great city. It is the place where I took my first breath, walked my first steps, and spoke my first words. It is where I went to school, attended university, rented my first flat with my first salary, and started my first job. I learned to drive a car on Joburg streets, and I fell in love here. I fell in love with this city and all her people. In those days, Joburg was the drumbeat of South Africa. But the vibrancy of its people couldn't mask the inequality of apartheid. This city was built by migrant laborers who left their homes in rural South Africa to dig for gold deep underground. The mine dumps heaped above attested to what they endured underneath. Dangerous work and long separation from their families, yet their sweat and sacrifice laid the foundations of a great world city. I'm grateful to my parents who made sure that even as children, we were aware of the harsher realities of the city in which we otherwise had a carefree childhood. When 1994 was finally won, Joburg represented the pinnacle of new South Africa's promise, signaling to the world that South Africa's time had come to join the ranks of the world's free and democratic nations. The city of opportunity, the embodiment of our diversity, a magnet for its brightest and best. It was the place to be. Now, just over 30 years later, many of its own residents see it as a place to flee. Joburg is South Africa's most devastating example of what bad government can do to great people. You feel it with every pothole on Louis Botha Avenue or on the Golden Highway, arteries of our city that have been left to crumble. You smell it when you walk down Pritchard Street in the CBD, and others littered with rubbish and choked by illegal dumping. You see it when you open your tap in Coronationville, or right here in Soweto and no water comes out, or when you sit in darkness during endless power cuts in Roodepoort, Randburg and Eldorado Park. Your heart sinks when you think of the hijacked buildings of Hillbrow and Berea, where I once lived in dignity, but where families now live in danger. And you can see it in the fear gripping the suburbs, where people hunker down behind high walls and razor wire. Joburg now symbolizes the burden that bad government places on great people. But the good news is that in a democracy, the people have more power than their government, if they will only use it. They can vote for change. They can evict a bad government and demand better. The greatest risk facing Joburg is that their people resign themselves to the path of failure and give up on her promise. We are here to say, we will not give up. We can still change course. There is a better way, and it is the DA way of government. If you don't believe me, as John said, just ask the president. With perfect timing, President Ramaphosa this week showed the boldness we've all been waiting for. There is no braver act for a political leader than endorsing his main political opponent. Make no mistake, that is exactly what the president did. He told South Africa that the DA's election offer is better than the ANC's. He said, those municipalities that do best are not ANC-controlled municipalities. They are often DA-controlled municipalities. The president continued, we need to ask ourselves, what is it that they are doing that is better than what we are doing? Well, Mr. President, your councillors in Johannesburg are about to find out. Your voters will bring DA government here so that you can all see firsthand. For cities to flourish, a few basics must be in place. We all know what they are, but clearly the president doesn't because he still has to find out. Elected representatives must be driven by a desire to serve and improve their communities. That sounds like the DA, doesn't it? They must not use their positions to steal from the people they are supposed to serve. The city administration must be staffed with skilled, ethical, and capable professionals. These officials must be appointed for what they know rather than who they know or are related to. They must be rewarded for excellence, and they must be held accountable for failure. You see, local government isn't about ideology and grand ideals. It is about grand responsibility. It is the front line of service delivery. The only job of local government is to deliver quality, basic services. Water, as you all know, should be a right and not a luxury. Sewage, refuse removal, roads, traffic lights, electricity. Those basic things without which no one can lead a dignified life. In a local government election, the only question voters should ask is this: who will do that job the best? That is the question every voter in Johannesburg needs to ask in the run-up to the next election. And they know the answer because the president has given them a clue. The DA is a party that believes in maximizing your freedom under the rule of law. We provide the conditions that allow all people to flourish, a platform on which they can build better lives for themselves and their families. A pathway out of poverty in a city that enables them, not obstructs them. Those concepts are not just words. They are the building blocks of the world's greatest cities and the bedrock of every successful democracy. When people vote for governments rooted in these ideas, life improves for everyone. Another party once said, a better life for all. They say it, we deliver it. The history of every successful democracy on earth will tell us what is needed for success. The most wonderful thing about Joburg is the resilience of her people who believe in the potential of this city and who will work to fulfill it. Despite the decline, it is still the beating golden heart of Africa. The world's great cities, the world's greatest cities were not born great. They became great over generations through the relentless efforts of the people who believed in them. There is no shortage of such people in Johannesburg. Thousands of people working in hundreds of organizations who, despite their government, want to make Josie the great city we all know she can be. They believe they can make her work and that she will then work for them. And when enough people do that together, the result is a great world city. Great cities make great countries, not the other way around. Cities connect people to the economy. They create opportunities. And when people seize their opportunities, they multiply them, unlocking new prospects for others to succeed. For every tale of decline and collapse in Johannesburg, there is an equal and opposite force of rebuilding and renewal by dedicated residents. The force of their belief and energy will overcome the forces of despair. All they need is a mayor and municipal government to get behind them and be the catalyst for change, to spend the multi-billion rand city budget on the way that best contributes to the city's resurrection, and to harness everyone's effort in a whole of society groundswell that turns that belief into reality. I am deeply indebted to the Democratic Alliance for entrusting me with this enormous responsibility. I believe my whole life and every previous job has been preparing me for this. From this day forward, I will, together with you, take to the streets of Johannesburg, from Alexandra to Soweto, from Sandton to Orange Farm, from Hillbrow to Lenasia, from Roodepoort to Midrand, from Diepsloot to Eldorado Park. I will hear the hopes and fears of the people of this great city. We will listen to their frustrations and their ideas to fix it, and we will learn a lot from them. Joburg's people will never give up on her, and I am one of them. We will not let Joburg's taps stay dry. We won't accept brokenness as the new normal. We will wrestle our city back from the criminal mafia and return her to those who love her. When you drive through those potholed roads in the darkness, where every broken street light represents a failed promise, I share your despair. It doesn't have to be like this. But it will be if we do not make the choice for change now. The time has come. This time it must be different. It is literally now or never. Let the forces for good in the city unite to save it from the forces for bad. Let's put the darkness behind us. Together we can make the city of gold shine on our country, our continent, and all of the world. That is the Joburg that you dreamt of, and that we will work for, and that you deserve. Helen, Johannesburg. Thank you very much, everybody.
Asante, woza, shi, kelilanga, izopata. Asante, tie, city. Abba